evening and welcome to the Creative Communities meeting for April. Kiana's going to do our opening karakia for us. That's okay?
That's mine working. Okay. All right, me ino I tātou. Whakataka te au ki te uru, whakataka te au ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki te kita, kia mā taratara ki tai, kia ua kia ngā te tāhura, tio, he uka, he auhu, tihei, mauri ora.
Thank you. And our apologies for this evening. Are you going to say them or am I? Our Freestone and Jasmine T and Jamie Tamaki. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Richard. Kiana, sorry. We've got no late items. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare on any of them? No? Awesome. Moving on to confirmation of the minutes for our October meeting where I was away, so we need, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says 501. So you came at the correct time. It's meant to be 6, yes. So yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, the meeting was postponed and rescheduled, and we scheduled it for an hour earlier than traditional, and that's what caused the confusion.
Okay, so no typo. Are there any other matters arising from those minutes? No, so then can we have a mover and a seconder? Please. Only two that can. Thank you very much. So then we're moving on to our reports. Item 8, the accountability, and we'll hand it over to page 12, hand it over to Nikki.
Shoulder. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on such a wet and windy evening. As a part of receiving funding and delivering these creative projects for our community to make it really vibrant, those creators do need to return accountability reports. So within those, they basically tell us that they did the project, they completed it, and these were the outcomes. And we really try and encourage them to tell a story with it, maybe give us some photos so you can enjoy them, and we can see what all of those kind of basically neat things that are happening out there. So between rounds 1 of 21-22 and round 1 of 24-25, which is around about 4 rounds, 2 rounds a year, so that's about 4 years, 2 rounds a year, so that's about 8 rounds. We had a total of 35 applications that were approved, and this is the first collection of those reports. The reason why is because it took a while to gather them together, and it also takes a while for people to actually deliver their projects, we've found. And then it takes a while for them, artists take it really seriously. So when they write their accountability, they really want to tell stories and go quite deep sometimes, which is brilliant. So you have in front of you, what have we got? 10 projects which have returned accountability within this round for your consideration. Just a couple of notes. I'll take the report as read, but a couple of notes within that is we have one applicant that's noted who is unlikely to complete their project due to quite significant challenges. And talking amongst staff, and also then reaching out to our Creative New Zealand regional advisor. She recommends that we deem it retired, which is a way to kind of understand that this is part of the kind of high trust model that we've got. We give it a go, and sometimes these things happen. We're not liable for those funds, and we just kind of basically just take it for the team. So, and as a part of that, actually, we do know that those funds were spent as they were supposed to be. So they were actually spent on those tools. That money did get there, but the project wasn't actually delivered with you. And the other project has reached which is round one, that's Mike Brown's Koru project, has reached 12 months, but also he's had a few things happen. So moving house and just life happens. So if, we'll support him to be able to deliver that project when he can. So back to you, Madam Chair, if you have any questions.
Anyway, I don't. Thank you, Nikki. Does anyone else have any questions about that accountability? No? So let's find my solution to read. So staff recommendation is that the Creative Community Scheme Committee receive the accountability reports provided in Appendix 1 of the staff report. I'm not going to list them all. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Richard? Aye. Maxine? All in favour? Aye. Awesome, thank you. And then we are moving on to item 9, and Nikki again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we are meeting to consider applications for round 2 of 24-25, which is the final round for this block. And the annual funding we had for both of these rounds was just over 21,000. Last round, you allocated 12,654, which has left 8,329 available for all these applicants. We have 6 applications, at which totals 18,264, which very much exceeds the available funding. As I'll take the report as read, and then we could go to the spreadsheet and work through them. But just a note regarding the closing dates, because this round, across all 3 grants, we had a really low response rate to our deadline, which was advertised and marketed as usual through lots of different channels on Facebook and newspaper and in person and posters and reaching out via emails. And I don't really know what that reason was. So we're just going to kind of take it as a bit of an anomaly. And I think that it will return to normal levels next time. But as a response to that, we did need to extend that deadline out because that money doesn't roll over. When we're in round 1, if we don't allocate, it rolls over to round 2. But being in round 2, it doesn't. So we extended it by 10 days, which is actually one working week, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully it'll go back to normal next time. But with that little extension, then we were able to get enough applications to give you some nice challenges this evening. Yeah, so if there's any questions on my report.
No, I don't think. Has anyone got any questions? No, while Nadia is putting our spreadsheet up with our scores and our figures that we all did and averaged it out, I just wanted to say I just appreciate all the hard mahi the staff do to putting this report together. It's huge. And like when I got mine, I got 2 other of the fund grants too. And the work you do to support the applicants, Nikki, is amazing. Thank you. And then to the committee that sit around this table, you're volunteers and you're reading this and helping our community. Like, thank you. It's no small task. We've only got 8K to give away and we've got applications for 18. So we've got some tough decisions about how best to allocate these limited funds. So yeah, let's get into it.
actually realise that I made a bit of a mistake there. I was actually calling out the total cost of the projects being 18,000, but actually the requested funds are... No, that is right. I might get you to, yeah. So we've got, first up, we've got, sorry, I've been dreading this name, Circus Susurrus, which is a sensory-friendly circus performance for children with special needs. So I did call and speak to that applicant quite deeply about their project because it is a little confusing that it's based in Waipa district. And the reason for that is because they don't have they require sound and lighting and a particular kind of technical rig for that, which we do not have in the district. So the nearest theatre to be able to kind of deliver this project to the level that they want for those kids is in Te Awamutu, most likely at the Little Theatre or the Woolshed. So that's the reason why it looks like that. They've asked for $4,608.56. Taking into account your totals, we've got suggested funding of 466. Is there any questions regarding this application?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to let you guys know what my thoughts were on it. And I'd obviously want to hear yours too. I think it's a fantastic concept and it's clearly would be very engaging. However, I feel like to support the application, they could have reached out to our local schools to actually see if our staff and our support staff for our tamariki actually have the time to take them there in school. I mean, it's it's $4,000 and yeah, at this moment in time, I actually put 0 next to it because there is no guarantee that it's going to reach our people, our children, our tamariki. So that's my thoughts. Love to hear your thoughts.
I'm of the same opinion. Schools need to get a bus up there. Now there's $2 grand straight away for the school. Where's that coming from? That was my concern. And 4 or 5 schools just in town, let alone the district itself. That's just myself. And yeah, I gave it 0 as well. Just because it was out of town, mainly.
For me, I didn't put in the full amount, mainly because, yes, it's not in our district, it's in Te Awamutu. And I agree with Katrina. I'm sure Otorohanga College may have been able to help with the lighting. So it's a great initiative, it is. But those are the drawbacks for me.
Yeah, me too. I definitely agree with Katrina as well. So I left my one blank because I didn't see how that was going to be accessible for our kids here without their own challenges. So that already cuts it back a lot as well. But they didn't really, I know in the application they said it's quite a new program and it was quite successful their first few times doing it, but that's not to say that our schools might not even want to go to that with no, because it's such a big event to hold for that type of area of education-wise as well, is there's not really much reputation there from experience. I know that that's something that schools have to consider when taking their kids out to those sorts of things. So I just wasn't too sure on how, what's the right word? Can't think of the right word, but I couldn't kind of see how they were going to be able to guarantee to actually get schools involved. They didn't talk much about the processes or steps they took to engage with the schools either, so it was hard to know where they were at. But yeah, I feel like there could have been potential space for co-funding funding even to help support, that might have left a bit of space for us as well to help them a bit more if we knew that they were seeking funding from, maybe even from Waipa at the same time, might be a cool thing to kind of suggest for next time. But yeah, it was a bit of a bummer this year. I don't feel like all of that should sit on our shoulders as well, I guess, only because there's a lot of other people that are going to miss out on money as well for me to fund.
Thanks. So, do we all sort of agree that we change it to 0? Yeah, okay? Yeah,
I'm happy on that.
yeah. I think that's the feeling around the room, yeah. And maybe like, I mean, when we get to the end, obviously, we'll go back over it, but maybe that's the guidelines we give them, like, because I think it's more aimed at the disability children. So, yeah, like they need to reach out to our schools and actually see if we've got the support people that can, take them in the funding. Yeah, because I know, yeah, teacher support is, really under budgeted.
To reassure you, this kind of feedback is really, really helpful for creatives and for people applying for grants. So what I do is I bundle your feedback, and when I talk to them, this is what I'll pass along so that they can develop and kind of fill in those holes and stuff. So thank you. So number 2, we've got Encore. Encore Academy are a singing and music school. They are wanting to do a musical and singing showcase with the community, for the community, and it would pay for vocal and music tutors, a pianist and venue hire, as well as what they've got is some kind of scholarship support for some of the low-income students. It's all bundled together. They've requested $1,940, and you're coming out at $1,595. They've been successful in 2 previous rounds, and they do return their accountability, and they deliver what they say. Over to you.
I'll let someone else start. Someone else want to start? I can start, but yeah, Richard, you go.
I had no problem with it. I gave 1,000 just because we needed to cut back the funds. We've got to do it somewhere, and that's just one of our problems. We don't have much money. Yes, it's great, it's worked, and they've been doing very well.
Cool. Maxine?
I think it's a great initiative. For me personally, I love singing. And it's part of our culture as well. So I think that's probably why I gave 1,500. That's about it.
Next. Kian?
Yeah, I put down the 1,500 as well. Oh no, I gave a bit more. Oh no, yeah. I gave that much because I thought, they've always been really successful with their outcomes, and it's really inclusive. But they've got space available for people of all levels of experience as well, which I think is good for those kind of things, and age range. But also the amount of work they do outside of those classes as well to support their students, I think is also very good. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool. Thanks. The reason being exactly what you guys have said, but also for me is that they actually charge a participation fee of $80, and a lot of people that come to us for funding don't actually charge. So that was like a winner for me. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the 1,500 that we have there? Now that we've got the extra 466 from the circus.
start. Yeah, we've got requests for 18 though, that's the next question, and we've got to bring it down somewhere at present. But, you know, there's other figures up there as well, and maybe it will come together.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
we can check what
Yeah.
we've got in the green over into the blue for now
Yeah,
and see where we land when we, get to the bottom of the spreadsheet. Okay.
Our next applicant is Janea Waitere. So Janea's application is actually a reapplication from last round on request. So it is an exhibition, a weaving exhibition and demonstration held at the Kiwi House. She has been successful in a previous round and also was successful in getting an Aotearoa Order Fund, both separate projects. She has requested $5,688.52, and you've come out at $2,828.97. Over to you.
Start with Maxine this time.
If I remember right, her project is a big one. And I think that's part of the reason why we kind of knocked it on the head last time. If she was able to scale it down a bit, she'd probably receive a bit more. But I'm happy with the average that's there.
Kiana?
I agree. I'm quite happy with the average. Kind of got my numbers mixed up, I think, because I put nothing in for that first one, so my brain thought, oh, cool, there's heaps of money. oh yeah, this person needs it. But yeah, that one was a bit hard because it is a very big project and it's kind of hard. You don't have the available funds to support them, but I did want to give a little bit more on my part because I thought it's very hard to explain those types of exhibitions or work, especially with weaving, but also the fact that when you look at her background and what she's trying to do is actually, if that was successful, it would be a huge turning point for a lot of our kairaranga and Maniapoto history, which actually has a huge role in te ao Māori around weaving, and I don't think that's recognised enough, but that's kind of why I put a bit of a bigger figure there, is for those unseen reasons, I guess.
Richard?
I do like this project. Yes, it is a lot of money to start with. I've given it basically half, roughly. I have a very good friend from Napier that does weaving, 24/7, and I appreciate what she does and what she does for the community side of it. I don't see it over this side, so I'd like to see it. Yes, it is a lot of money. I just gave it half just because we're trying to cut the money back.
Yeah.
I do like that part,
Yeah. So, I gave the project half. I'm just wondering if maybe we could just jump into public excluded for a minute. Yeah. A mover and a seconder, Richard?
Yeah.
And Kiana? Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. So we'll go around the room again for this application. Start with Richard this time. We already talked about it. Sorry, guys. I'll just say what I feel. I'm really comfortable funding half this amount. I think it's really important, but we also, like I said, we need to find a more sustainable way to get these projects happening in our community without relying on funding all the time. So if everyone's happy where we're sitting at a spreadsheet of that dollar amount, we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Kia ora. Next up, number 4, we have Korokanui School, and it's a pottery workshop for years 7 and 8, 25 students, run by a local potter. So to confirm that when a school applies for this fund, the project has to sit outside of their normal arts curriculum, which this does because they're bringing in an external expert, and they are making pottery and firing it, which is actually like not a resource that they have at the school. So it does sit outside and it is eligible. They are requesting $1,525 and you're coming out at $1,393. Always. Yep. Over to you.
Thanks, Nikki. I'll start this time. I actually gave them the whole amount. It's not much. It's getting the kids involved with art, something they wouldn't, a tactile project, which is really important for some kids. I know I'm a tactile learner, not a learner, so that's my thoughts, but we'll start with Kiana this time.
I give the full amount as well. Again, mainly because it's a rural school, it's a small school, and those schools typically don't have access or opportunities to participate in much stuff like that. But also, she's even taking their work away, firing it into the kiln, and taking it back to them to finish them. So that's alone is a lot of work, but I really liked that project for a small school.
Maxine.
I gave the full amount as well. As far as I'm concerned, any school in the district deserves the full amount. And we're all rural schools anyway. And I agree with Kian with what she said regarding there aren't that many options for rural. And that's the main reason why I gave the full amount. They deserve it just as much.
Cool, thank you. Richard?
Okay, I had half down, nothing against the school or anything. It's just because I needed to cut funds somewhere. My sister actually does pottery. She's got her own kiln and everything, so I know what's involved. It's, she's been doing it for a long time and now she's got her own kiln and she's loving it, so great for the kids. And yes, the teacher's got to take all this home, get it done for them, and bring it all back again. So good luck.
So in saying that, Richard, would you be happy, because at the moment we're just tweaking all the figures, because you gave it a low amount because we're trying to give the funding out, can we put the full amount in our blue and wait until the bottom and then retweak if we have to?
I would say yes to that.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Rebecca Dalmo-Napo and the Otorohanga Creative Conduit. So this is a series of workshops that Rebecca produces, but she's not the tutor for all of them. So it's about inviting in tutors who are experts in their media, and it it could be for children, it could be adults, it could be a variety of mediums. But what this application is wanting to do is to subsidise and bring down that cost. So when she's bringing in tutors and they're very experienced in giving their time and skills, they require payment that takes that into account. And so this brings that down a little. So they are ticketed events for participation, and you're trying to keep those costs as low as possible. So that's what it's going towards. It's possibly a little bit confusing with the following application with the museum, but they are separate projects. They're both held at the Otorohanga Museum, and they do both involve Rebecca. But it is very much different hats, different projects, and different audiences and work. So for this one, they are requesting 2,498, and you've given it 1,236.75. Over to you.
Start with Richard this time.
Again, a great project. She's been doing very well over the last few years. I've liked her stuff. I only gave it half because, again, we're just trying to find the funding. I can't say much more about that. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
I did I give the full amount again? Sorry, Richard. I gave the full amount mainly because it's kids again, and to my understanding it was for school holidays, which it can be tough, I guess, finding activities for your kids. Yeah, I don't know what else to think either. I just think it's cool that there's something available for kids, especially outside of school where there's space for them to actually interact. Meet kids from other school even as well, but also, not all of us parents can afford to entertain our kids every day of the holidays either, so having something different available I thought was quite neat.
Maxine?
Yeah, I agree. It's for kids, and I also agree that it's hard to find things for the kids to do these days, regardless of their ages. And yeah, I like that project.
So,
So I'd say, I've noticed her advertising a lot on Facebook for the school holiday stuff. So hers is definitely getting out there. I will admit, I didn't see yours, for this coming up, where I have before. And I think I know why. I'll come to you later. But yeah, the school holiday thing it's nice. It's another thing for the kids in the school holiday, especially this last one. A lot of it was wet, so giving them something to do inside was great.
Sorry, I've got one more thing to say as well. I also gave the full amount because I think when it comes to kids, especially because it's outside of school, it's in the holidays, which usually means your parents aren't there. And I feel it's important to note that Rebecca has been working with children for quite a long time, so she's got that kind of reputation where it's okay to leave your children with her. So I think those kind of things are important to note too when it comes to these kind of things.
So for me, that was really, really hard because, as Nikki said, the next one's very similar. So I actually, sounds awful, I actually gave that one nothing but the full amount to the next one because, and probably the only thing is because it says for children and families, and I just thought, and I know that the kids club runs in the school holidays too, so yeah, and I'm totally happy with what you guys have said, and I totally agree with everything you say because Rebecca is amazing, and what she's doing is amazing, but I was just like, can you half fund both of them and they're still gonna happen, or, yeah, I'm not sure, Nikki could probably give us guidance on that. I was like, I'll fund one of them fully, and it was the one that came under the museum, because then you know that she doesn't have to, you know, it's just in one place. Yeah, so I'm totally good with what you guys decide.
I'll just jump in response to your question, like, yes, you could essentially partially fund both, and I believe that they would still happen, because the first one, the creative conduit, is about subsidising. So whether you subsidise the full amount or half of that amount, it would still bring those ticket prices down somewhat. And the Otorohanga Museum would be creative workshops, which then could be, I would imagine, be flexed to fit the budget, materials-wise and things. So yes, that's possible, if that was something that you're wanting to do. Up to you.
So, yeah, in saying that, so the conduit one is for subsidising the cost of the participants, whereas the other one is for materials and staffing fees. So to me, that's more a free workshop for families and children. Yeah, so that's probably why I gave the first one 0 and the second one the full amount. But I'm totally happy with your guidance around the table.
Question for the Otorohanga Museum side of it. They call it Kids Club. Has Kids Club in Otorohanga gone? No, it's still around? Because they do a holiday thing as well. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so what's the feeling around the table? What would we like to put in the blue column?
I'm quite happy with the average of what we've got in the green for that first one. For now, at least until we get through the last one, so we can have space to go back again later.
So the average was the 1,200, is that right? Yep.
Yeah, just so we can have the conversation about the Otorohanga Museum one and
Yep. Cover. Is everyone happy with that? Yep. Okay, Nikki, next one.
And the final one is Otorohanga Museum Kids Club, which is a series of workshops, so a monthly workshop, and it would be about that they are in the museum, and they are essentially kind of creative workstations, which could be manned by Rebecca or another museum staff member, and it's creative workshops and activities which respond to the historic collection. Yeah. Over to you. Requested $2,004, and you have come in at 1,401.
Cool, thanks. I'll hand it over to the floor.
I really like that idea, but yeah, when it comes to the kids club side, I was thinking, I'm pretty sure Otorohanga has another sort of establishment similar to that, but the only thing that I kind of removed from the figures was I wasn't quite sure on how to feel about funding like wages outside of their work hours just to get that going, and to my understanding, I assume that it's not actually, it's more of they're seeking money to establish the kids club, and those wages were taking up half of their asking figure, and I wasn't too sure about that, especially when you put it side by side, considering Rebecca was involved in both. So I wasn't too sure what to do there, so I kind of removed that that wage figure that they kind of added into their budget.
Good point. Richard?
Myself, it was the wage thing again. As far as I'm aware, at a museum they have staffed, paid staff. So I was sort of curious, we can pay more staff, or is it just paying the staff they've got, doing more stuff? But I thought this was more for the arts myself, So I wanted to see it going into the art materials or that. I can understand if you're getting in an experienced teacher and stuff, but this to me sounds like they're a babysitter, so to speak, not a teacher teaching them something. So that's myself.
Thanks. Maxine?
I thought the same. Receiving wages for volunteer work kind of thing. It's not something that one would consider doing. If it's volunteer, it's volunteer.
Yep.
So I can't recall actually how much I put in, but 12. Oh, so I kind of averaged it out with what I had left over. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I still think it's a cool idea though.
Nice. So is everyone happy if the blue column has 1,200 because you all have put 1,200 there? Right. So we've got $56 over. Did you say?
So you've got $56.28 over.
Okay. So thoughts on where we're gonna lose the $56?
This is going to sound a little bit stick, but just on while we're still talking about the last two, I guess that I would be happy to take it from Rebecca's one, mainly because when we talk about tickets, she's selling tickets for participation in hers. There's ways for her to kind of recoup a little bit of that money, but also we've got the full amount there for the Kurakonui school. I don't want to touch that. Otherwise, even same for Encore, they're sitting pretty good for my personal opinion. Otherwise, I guess we'd be looking at Janae's because I don't really want to take like $10 off each of them. Stick.
Yeah, I actually agree with what you're saying, so that's, yeah. How's everyone else feel about that?
I think you've come up with an idea actually, because like you say, all the other ones, yeah, the good causes and stuff, and this is sort of like two similar ones. And it's one way of getting, say, you know, well, we have to $56, whatever it is. It's not much money, but she's paying door fees and stuff here. So hopefully. If we change that figure, how much would she get? Oh,
So how's everyone feeling where that's sitting? I'm happy. Yeah.
Kaya, would you like me to do you have access to?
So who reads it? Oh, okay. Can I have a mover and seconder that we agree on this funding up there, Richard? Kiana, thank you. should have some music that plays to our online people while we're waiting. No, you don't rush, you're all good. So we've got a mover and seconder for it already, so what do we? All in favour, say aye. Yeah. Aye. So, we have no information reports, public exposure, we've done that, so closing formalities. Could you please close us? Thank you.
All right. Me inoi tātou, kia tau, kia tātou katoa, te atua, te raki, kurati, te atua, te atua me te whiwhina teitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake, amine.
Thank you. And
Thank
I
you,
declare our
everybody.
meeting closed.